Prabha. Prabha has been the editor of what I can consider Goa's own little magazine, Parmal, which is now presently not circulation, not published, but there are some issues here. I think we can pass around these issues as well. Parmal contained a lot of very varied content, fiction, essays, poetry, photographs from writers in Goa or about Goa or elsewhere. She is presently editing Tabli Market, an online journal which was initiated by Vivek. So we hope that that too will shape up into a kind of virtual online magazine.
I seem to have been involved in little magazines almost a major part of my life. I started with a small one issue of poetry magazine when I was in college called Silhouette. It came out once. It was very nice. We enjoyed bringing out. It was interfering too much with our studies. But the other little magazine that I edited was the book review for 4 years, from 81 to 84. And we were actually very little. Nikhil Diamond, he had given us little, he's a very well-known journalist of mainstream, who has been established mainstream. And he had practically given us a little corner where my friend and I used to bring it out, and it was from our ground, from selecting books to asking people to review and then to see it, editing it, and in those days we were still working letterpress. So that was quite exciting, but very, very back-breaking and grueling. But we were young, we enjoyed it. And my next experience with Little Magazine, if we can call that, was to work with an NGO. We had a lot of very dedicated young people who were working in far-flung areas in the villages all over the country. And we just felt they needed to be able to voice their experiences, their ideas. And so I was there with them, helping them to express, like mentoring them. And we used to bring out a monthly newsletter, in-house newsletter, which came out very nicely. They felt, so often what happens, people are working at the ground level, is they have no voice. Somebody else comes and writes for them. And what we wanted to do was to help these people to write what they experience in their day-to-day lives, their dreams, their problems, etc. So that was very fulfilling. And then the next little magazine was that I came to edit was in Goa, the little one that we saw, Parmal, which is not an individual. Again, it was supported by, so to speak, by an NGO called Goa Heritage Action Group, which has done very good work in terms of furthering conservation, preservation of cultural heritage, especially buildings. And they said they would like to showcase their work and write about culture and heritage in Goa to bring it out. So they approached me, and I said, okay. And that's how I edited that journal for 5 years. It was an annual journal. We didn't have money again. I worked for free, and it was really a labor of love, and it was sort of buoyed with the enthusiasm of people who wanted to write with us. We even brought out a special issue on Didi Kosambi, where we managed to get Ramana Thapar to write for us. So, that was a big thing. And we had people from all over the world coming, and they were interested. They saw it, they found it very interesting, and they wanted to write. And as an editor, the way I defined culture, heritage, was not only, built structures, but also songs, stories, things that are not known. So we had, in fact, Alito's wife, Kiran. She had gone down to the to a village down there, and she has a mine of beautiful stories that she heard and recorded from an old fisherwoman. And she got it translated, and she is an artist, so she had also illustrated the stories. So we managed to do those little things also, the things that would not come into focus, but which is also a part of this weave of what we call culture. So it stopped partly because there were some disagreements about how it should be, because I thought it should be a serious magazine and not a tourist brochure, because we have enough of that to do. Every travel agent has a publicity thing, and I want to also the magazine to represent the deeper, what I thought, more potent concern. And that's how it became, that's how it visualized it. But again, I agree with you, it is very cumbersome. Getting contributors was not a great problem. There was a problem with editing and all that, but since it was an annual, so you could do it over time. And I had 2-3 issues lined up, so there was a lot of time to work on with the contributors. But what is the problem was, this is what I wanted to ask you, for a little magazine, a small organization, is the lack of infrastructural support. Who goes and gets the advertisements? Who goes to for distribution, sales, all these things, and otherwise there's a lot of enthusiasm and all that. So these are things that really, I think are the stumbling blocks for us, because we don't have money, but our asset is a lot of enthusiasm and passion. If that can buoy us. So now what we are doing is Vivek had started a website which he posted very successfully for a while, called Tamil Mind. And while we were talking about it, we said, how are we going to do it? And I was thinking, again, I love the feel of paper, I love the feel of the smell, and the whole idea of good editing it and laying out, designing and everything, and finding it to print. But it costs time, it costs money, and who's going to do it? And there's a lot of enthusiasm, but so it's going to be, we hope.
Very exciting, very exciting.
And we're going to include it beyond culture, literature. We want to include, since it's going to be Goa focused, because that is another issue that we want to talk about. Since the Goa writers, we just have Goa, we have more, as you said, South Asia. Then the group consensus was that the value of Tamil Mati would be to have Goa focus, because that's what we have to offer the world for anyone who takes it. So we are going to do that. So we want to have translations very much to be part of regular teacher. We're still in the process, but while we are putting it together, we're still brainstorming about how we're going to go about it. Since it's a voluntary thing, there are 3 of us at the moment, we are working editors, so we keep a close tab on each other. But what we want to do in subsequent issues is to ask, because for writing is not a and also work on a template that we can more or less keep to. That's what we are planning to do. And since it's going to be online, so we have no mailing problems, no taking to the post office, no going and begging bookstores to keep it for you and displaying it prominently, that kind of thing. So again, as you said, it may not reach the far-flung areas, but it may reach more people who are interested in what's going on in this area in Goa.